IT 201, Capstone and Research 1. Etymology. Researche, go to about seeking, Middle France. Researcher, re plus searcher or searcher, Old France. What is research? According to Martin Shuttleworth, gathering of data, information and facts for the advancement of knowledge. Also according to Creswell, collecting and analyzing information to increase our understanding of a topic or issue. Steps include pose a question, collect data, and present the answer. According to Webster, it defines the term research as a careful and systematic study and investigation in some field of knowledge. It is careful and systematic since a course of action may only be known by first defining the condition that needs corrective measures, followed by an analysis of its background and effects. Important of research. A quest of knowledge and understanding. An interesting and perhaps useful experience. A way to broaden and frontiers of knowledge. A way to improve quality of human life. A course for qualification. A career. An essential process for commercial success. And an ego boost for you. Characteristics of researchers. Intellectual curiosity. Prudence. Healthy criticism, and intellectual honesty. Intellectual curiosity. Reflective thinking or inquiry, getting information as to novelty or unusualness. Seeking questions, constant reading, using experiments, creativeness, inventiveness, testing hypotheses. Prudence. Conducting the study at the right time, at the right place, wisely, economically, efficiently, doing the right thing at the right time. Healthy criticism. Doubtful as to veracity of the result, truthfulness of the findings. Intellectual honesty. Honest in collecting or gathering data, arriving at honest results. Characteristic of research. Empirical, logical, cyclical, analytical, replicability, and critical. Empirical is based on direct experience or observation. Collection of data relies on practical experience without benefit and scientific knowledge of theory. In logical, based on valid procedures or principles done in orderly manner, drawing valid conclusions. Cyclical starts and ends with a problem from conclusion and recommendations. Many researchables problem pop-up cycle is repeated but must follow definite format and styles. Analytical. Applying analytical procedures, historical research, the past, descriptive research, the present, experimental research, the future, case study, the past, the present, and the future. Replicability. Research design or procedures are replicated. It is a comparison of similarities and differences. The more replications, the more valid conclusive results to arrive at. Critical. Careful and precise judgment establishing high level of confidence. 1% level of confidence, 5% level of confidence. Types of research. Pure research, applied research, and action research. Pure research. It is a basic research or fundamental research. Aims to discovering the basic truth or principles to add to a body of scientific knowledge. Applied research. Application of scientific knowledge to the solution of the problem. Development of new system, procedures, device or method problem is identified, a new system is applied. Action research. Decision-oriented research Application of steps of scientific method. Classification of research. Library research, field research, and laboratory research. Library research. Conducted in the library such the answers are available in the library. Historical research, past primary or secondary sources are available in the library. Field research. Conducted in the natural setting, no changes in the environment, applicable to descriptive survey and experimental methods. Laboratory research, conducted in artificial or controlled conditions, isolating the study in an operationalized area, to test hypotheses, to control variance, to discover the relations between the DV and IV. Laboratory research is also applicable to experimental, descriptive, and case study methods. Types of variables. Independent variable, dependent variable, moderate variable, control variable, and intervening variable. Independent variable or IV, stimulus variable determines relationship to an observed phenomenon. Independent variable is manipulated. Dependent variable or DV, response variable observed and measured to determine the effect of IV. DV changes when the IV varies. Moderate variable, secondary or special type independent variable, to ascertain if it alters or modifies the relationship between the IV and the DV. IVA affects DVB, but factor C is suspected to modify the relationship between A and B, so C is the moderator variable. Control variable. Variable controlled by the researcher. Effects can be neutralized by eliminating or removing IVA. Affects DVB. The researcher may control D. Control variable because he cannot do many variables simultaneously. Intervening variable. Variable that interferes the IV and the DV. The effects can either strengthen or weaken the IV and the DV. IVA affects DVB. Intervening factor F might have an effect on DV. Steps to scientific research. Observation and formation of the topic. Hypothesis. Conceptual definition. Operational definition. Gathering of data. Analysis of data. Data interpretation. Tests. Revising of hypothesis and the conclusion. Research design. Historical, descriptive, experimental, and case study. Historical method. History deals with the past events. Systematic critical inquiry of the truth of the past events using critical method in the understanding and interpretation of facts, current issues, and problems. Researches the past for solutions to contemporary the problems and needs. It throws light on the present. It gives people a sense of continuity of the past to the present. It enables communities to grasp the relationship with the past to the current issues. Chronicle events of enduring worth upon people consciousness of unity and a feeling of importance of human achievement. Descriptive method. Present condition. Purpose. To find new truth, increase knowledge, new generalization, new causal relationship, more accurate formulation of problem. Development of new instruments. Tests, questionnaires, interview, observation, schedules, checklists, scorecards, rating scales. Types of descriptive research. Descriptive survey, descriptive normative, descriptive status, descriptive analysis, descriptive classification, descriptive evaluative, descriptive comparative, correlational surveys, longitudinal surveys, descriptive surveys, survey, gathering of data regarding present conditions to prove the value of facts, to focus attention on important things, questionnaire as gathering instrument, psychological and social aspect of research, facts, and influences. Descriptive normative. Normative. Ascertain the normal or typical condition comparing results of local tests with a national norm. Descriptive status. Answers question to the real facts relating to the existing conditions. Determines the prevailing conditions in a group of cases chosen for study. Stresses current conditions with an implications of the idea that things will change. Descriptive analysis determines and describes the nature of things by separating it into its parts. Determines the kind, quantity, proportions of parts that form a whole. Determines the composition structure, substructure that occur as units within the larger structure. Descriptive classification. Natural sciences, specimens collected as classified from phylum to species. Descriptive evaluative. Appraises the worthiness of the current study. Uses questionnaire to evaluate. Descriptive comparative. Consider two entities not manipulated and establishes a formal procedure for gathering criterion data as basis to compare and conclude which of the two is better. Correlative survey determines the relationship of two variables, x and y. Whether the relationship is perfect, very high, high, marked, slightly or negligible. Perfect positive correlation with a value of 1.0 is seldom happen. Perfect negative correlation with a value of negative 1.0 is also rarely happen. Longitudinal surveys involves much time allotted for investigation of the same subjects at two or more points in time. Experimental method problem-solving approach describes what will happen when certain variables are controlled or manipulated. Natural sciences with limitations on field of education. Psychology and sociology expected to reveal cause and effect relationships. Types of experimental method. Single group design, parallel group design, counterbalance design, pre-test, post-test, group design, complete randomized design. Single group design involves a single treatment with two or more levels, mean, and analysis of variance. Or ANOVA are statistical tools to be used. Mean determines the acceptability or effectiveness of a particular product. ANOVA determines the significant difference on the quality attributes of the product. Parallel group design. Two or more groups are used simultaneously with only one single variable or control group. It's a manipulated or changed experimental group is varied. Parallel group serves as the control for comparative purposes. Counterbalance design. Quasi-experimental design. Rotation design. It involves an exchange of two or more treatments taken by the subject during the experiment. Latin square. Each variable in a form of square occurs once in a row or column. Pre-test, post-test group design involves the experimental group and the control group carefully selected through randomization procedures. Pre-test is given to the both groups at the beginning of the semester and the post-test at the end of the semester. But the control group is isolated from the experimental influences. Complete randomized design. A group of test plants or animals is studied only once by subsequent treatment is applied to determine the cause of change. No control group, but the subjects will undergo randomization procedures. Case study method. A problem-solving technique that the study is described from the past, present, and the future, categorized under descriptive. However, it is more distinct if this technique is placed in another method which is independent with the other. An intensive investigation of a particular individual, institution, community, etc., considered as a unit which includes the development, adjustment, remedial or corrective procedures that follows diagnosis of the causes of maladjustment or favorable development. Cycle of case study method. 1. Recognition and determination of the status of the phenomenon to be investigated. 2. Collection of data relative to the factors or circumstances associated with a given phenomenon. 3. Diagnosis or identification of causal factors as a basis for remedial or developmental treatment. 4. Application of remedial or adjustment measures. 5. Subsequent follow-up to determine the effectiveness of the corrective or developmental measures applied.